Hello everyone, I am the Unknown Furry, and today I am talking about the things I have learned about the furry fandom so far. Since it's only been about a week since my last video, I don't have much to report on my direct interactions. My friendships are still growing in the furry community, and I try to chat in some way within the community every day. I have also started watching YouTube creators in the furry fandom to learn more about the community in different ways. But that's about it on my progress over the last week. Today I wanted to talk about some lingo and slang that I've learned while interacting with the community about the furry fandom. I'll be making this list in no particular order. This list is my knowledge so far and won't be exhaustive, since I haven't been a part of the community very long and haven't heard everything. My channel is also intended to be family friendly, and terms that are adult oriented won't be listed in this video. I will also list some terms I already knew from the gaming community and writing circles because I suspect others entering the furry fandom without experience in dense online community spaces may not know them. Let's quickly cover the big ones, of which I already knew and most people will know when entering the community for the first time, but these are defining terms for the entire community and I feel it necessary to still talk about them here. Let's start with furry, a person who enjoys anthropomorphic and cartoonish characters and shares this interest with others. OC is an original character. A fursona is an anthropomorphic character or persona someone might roleplay as when socializing. Typically, this is an original character made and often similar, but not necessarily identical to the creator's true personality. A fursuit is a big suit of someone's persona worn to better adopt and perform directly as that character or fursona. Fursuiters are people who wear the fursuits. You can also conjugate fursuit into a verb like fursuiting to reference someone actively wearing and performing in a fursuit. Anthro is short for anthropomorphic. This can also be another term used in place of furry when referring to another furry that prefers more anthropomorphic traits in a character. Feral is kind of like the opposite of anthro in that it can be used in place of furry, but for characters that are more animalistic in nature and less anthropomorphic. Typically, the line between the two is mostly based on how many legs the character is walking on. Upright on two legs, anthro. On all fours, feral. A transaction made with an artist to make something is a commission, and the commissioner is the person paying for whatever it is they want, like a drawing, a song, or a fursuit, or anything like that. A reference sheet, or ref sheet, or just simply ref, is an art term that identifies a sheet of artwork of a character in several different positions that an artist can use to help better draw a character. This sheet would be used as a reference for what the character looks like and to get the more important colors of a character correct without eyeballing it. That's a pretty good bundle of starter terms. Now let's move on to terms I didn't really know or might be more obscure to a new furry in the community. I pretty much started my journey in the furry community looking for commissions for my fursona, and a big acronym I ran into but didn't know was YCH. Many artists will advertise their art in the form of a ghostly line art character with the letters YCH written or typed on the character. I had to ask what this meant and was told it meant your character here, and that the artist was advertising commissions for drawing fursonas of your original character art. The acronym is so ubiquitous that YCH is sometimes even jokingly referred to as a unique blue character in itself created by the fandom as a whole. In my experience, one would normally refer to a sketch or line art without color as just that, a sketch or line art, of which these are steps in the process of creating a drawing. In the furry community, I have seen the term ink used to refer to these things, such as sketches and line art of a character, or character without color. Typically, I would associate ink as being a tattoo, but in the community I have noticed the term as shorthand for sketches and line art, or artwork without color. Sticking with the art terms, I have also heard the term adoptables, or to be adopted, referring to art both written and drawn regarding an original character someone has made or commissioned and is now trying to sell to another person so that they can adopt that persona. Other art terms that are common and used when commissioning characters include things like headshot, which is a simple head portrait of a character, a bust, which is the next step including shoulders and some arms or chest and maybe background and accessories on the character. Badges are very similar to busts, but they are more likely to include the name of the character displayed as part of a sticker so it can be used to identify the persona and name easily on a badge, for example. I just mentioned stickers, and they are pieces of art with no background at all, typically outlined in white, that someone can use in chat logs or on actual stickers. The art lingo list can go on and on, but many are self-explanatory, so let's move on to some more terms I didn't know that are more community focused. While chatting with with other furries, my age came up more than once, and I have been referred to as gray-muzzled. I assume as a joke, but I didn't know what that meant necessarily and needed it explained. I was also confused at first because my fursona Tuft literally has a gray muzzle, and at first I thought that just meant my fursona was just in a group of furries with gray fur. I quickly learned that gray muzzle refers to a furry that is either older in age in general or has been active in the community for a very long time. I'm in my 30s, and apparently that is old enough to get hit with the term from younger furries. I don't mind it, so if being above 30 makes me a gray muzzle, then I accept. I have also been referred to as a neo-fur, which is just someone new to the community. Another set of references seems to be random kinds of generic names to refer to people that are not in the furry community. For example, someone being a Steve. Muggles is also a term I have heard used for the same concept. In the community, conventions or cons are very popular, and these are typical hubs for meeting others in the community and forging stronger friendships. Outside of cons, a friend group of furries might instead go to a fur meet, which is a small meetup of furries in less organized manners. At these conventions, and even in digital spaces, the main hub for artists and commissioners to meet together is called the Dealer's Den. This is where artists might sell their services for drawing or fursuit making, for example. At these conventions, you could run into fursuiters, which we defined earlier, but the level of detail in their fursuits can differ, where one might be digigrade, for example, which is a fursuit with the illusion of more animalistic legs walking on their toes instead of their full foot of the character. Plantigrade would be the opposite, where the character's legs are mostly human in shape and walk with feet fully planted on the floor. These fursuiters could be wearing a full suit, where every part of them is covered in fur. They could also be wearing a partial, in which they are wearing a fursuit head, tail, and paws in some combination. Those who are fursuiting in a partial might not cover all of their skin entirely by wearing short sleeves or shorts for different reasons. These people would be described as poodling. Someone might get too hot or need to remove a part of their suit in public and break character. This would be classified as breaking the magic. This action of breaking character seems to be frowned upon in the community, of which I am really struggling to understand. Being able to break character in any setting is important for many reasons, not just for fursuiters, but for role-playing as well. Breaking character is a very powerful out for anyone starting to feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or otherwise in danger. I could talk more about this, but I might save this conversation for a future video when I learn more about the community and can better represent my ideas and opinions on the matter. Moving on. Many cannot afford fursuits and will opt to use a kigurumi. These are like a onesie-style pajama set made to look like a furry character. These kinds of outfits are much lighter and easier to wear in general and can be purchased or commissioned like fursuits at a less intense price point. The fursuit community is a smaller community of the larger fandom and puts in a good amount of time, money, and effort. Someone extremely invested, if not completely invested in the community, would be described as a lifestyler, in which the furry community encompasses almost their entire life. A furry might not be a lifestyler, but still be popular in the community itself for different reasons, and these popular furries would be poppyfurs. The community has many terms to learn, such as protogens and hybrids and quad suitors. I am just beginning my journey, and this journal entry is starting to sound like a dictionary. With all that, I have still learned a lot in my now 1 month long journey. I plan to continue to enjoy my time chatting with others in the community. For videos, I am not sure I can continue to make solid journal entries once a week once I run out of ideas. I can't exactly get that much out of the community in a single week's time. With this in mind, I will likely still release weekly videos, but sometimes these videos will not be journal entries, but something else hopefully relating to the community or relating to my progress in video editing. If you are interested in my furry adventure, then subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you enjoy and comment below questions you might have for me. If you'd like me to cover any topics as a new furry, then also leave those ideas in the comments as well, and I might make a video of me bumbling through furry topics as journal entries. If you're also a furry and excited to see my continued fluffy transformation, then give me a roar or a howl in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. I am the Unknown Furry, and this is